What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. Let's talk about it. Everyone's favorite person to dislike, Carmelo Anthony. They recently did a poll on disliked players in the league, and even though Carmelo Anthony is not in the league, Carmelo Anthony is disliked. Why? Why would they even show a stat like that? To show likable players and people's whose status quo, his likability is down. Like, what is the point of trying to shade Carmelo Anthony, who's not in the league? That was very weird, but also very telling. As I will make my point and let it be known. Listen, Carmelo Anthony, and for the reasons that most people don't know, a lot of this goes back to Phil Jackson in the New York Knicks. Carmelo Anthony had a no trade clause in his contract. And because he had a no trade clause in his contract, the NBA is upset at the fact that he wouldn't waive it. Okay? See, when a team is ready to trade someone, Adam Silver has publicly came out and stated, players can't trade themselves. Teams can only trade players. So I cannot find a general manager for speaking about trading a player. And the union has always clashed with Adam Silver over this remark. Period. So when all of these things come to the light, what's her name? I think her name is Michelle Roberts from the players union. She always clashed with Adam Silver over these issues and blamed Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson's friends and the Knicks, Adam Dolan, everybody blamed Carmelo Anthony for the dysfunction of the New York Knicks and things not going well in New York. Phil was blamed. And then they switched that to Carmelo Anthony. He was the reason the Knicks. And he was Phil that was painting it in the media. So he could try to shame Carmelo Anthony out of New York. Carmelo wouldn't accept any type of deal that the Knicks had in place to get him out because he had a no trade clause. He didn't want to pick up and leave New York. He had his son there, his wife there. He's close to home, friends and family. He was comfortable staying with the Knicks. The Knicks want to move him. And he wouldn't go. The league came up with a situation which would appear feasible for all players and teams. All Melo had to do was waive his no trade clause. That wasn't going to be accepted. So when he had a chance to get picked up by the Oklahoma City Thunder to play alongside Russell Westbrook and Paul George and OKC. They made the deal and brought Carmelo Anthony over. They thought, okay, we're on our way. Now, to keep Carmelo Anthony on the team, which was their intentions, Oklahoma City Thunder didn't want to go into a luxury camp. They talked to the NBA and they worked out a deal in which they could, because they were going to be in a super tax by having Carmelo. So they wanted to tell Carmelo, we'll restructure your contract, so that we can be under the supermax, and you'll get your deal and this and that. Melo wasn't going for it. Melo was like, no, I'm not restructuring anything. You're just gonna have to pay me. This pissed off OKC because he wasn't willing to work with the NBA or the Oklahoma City Thunder. And they were going to be in a super tax situation because of, keeping Carmelo Anthony. And he wasn't willing to work with the contract. They were going to pay him every single dime. They just didn't want to be in a super tax. So now they wind up in a super tax because Carmelo don't want to play ball. So when the season was over, they had every intentions of getting rid of Carmelo Anthony, OKC. And basically, this was it. The Houston Rockets was going to be the last team to really deal with him. They got him to Atlanta, who bought him out. And he was supposed to be done. Like, completely done. Then he goes to the Houston Rockets, who decided, let's take a chance. The league was done with the Carmelo experiment. The league was moving on. Certain GM said, well, we talk. General managers, we talk. We have league missions, and we looked at him as a selfish player who has, does not move the league forward. This was their words. Move the league forward. Carmelo Anthony, a guy who was 4 times on the Olympian for the USA basketball team. Always been a great ambassador to the sport. I don't know how many times he was an all-star. He was not going to move the league forward. It's embarrassing. It's very disrespectful. And to see the league hold a grudge on this level for a player who embodied what the game was supposed to be about and single-handedly blames him for failures in the league, blaming him for everything that is going on wrong in the NBA. You blamed him for what happened to the Knicks when it was clearly not Carmelo Anthony's fault what happened with the Knicks. Is he the player he was when he was in his 20s? Of course not. But to think he couldn't play in the NBA today, even for one more season, well, you know what Adam Silver would say. It's not our fault. But this is clearly somebody else's fault. and not Melo's. A lot of people think he's going to end up with the Clippers. Why didn't LeBron James bring him to the Lakers? Because this comes down to general managers, the league, and everyone else involved. See, when the league don't want you anymore, you're out. It's no rhyme or reason why you don't get picked up. But when there's no more interest, and you've seen players that's not worth a damn still in the league, and you're like, this guy still gets a check? That's where we are now. The NBA decides who stays, who goes. And if they feel you're not a team player, you're out. See, LeBron knows Melo. And he also knows Melo has an ego that's not going to probably allow LeBron to be, it's LeBron's show, he's the main event. He knows Melo's personality is probably not going to just go accordingly to plan. And he don't want anybody to disrupt his reign. So with that being said, you know, we are in a standstill. The union fought for Melo. They actually did. But legally, by binding rights, because he had a no trade clause, he did what he thought was right and was best for his career. And he wanted his teams to honor their contract. Honor their contracts. But he didn't play ball. So now he's got to get blackballed. Sad. Very sad. The Brooklyn Nets worked him out like they were going to pick him up. And for some weird reason, he's not on the team. They had an available spot for him. Still do. Why is he not a Brooklyn Net? His trial went well. He would really help out with that second team. So, my question to you guys, what's going on, man? Why do y'all, for some reason, just sit back and say, well, Melo's shot. He's done. Melo's not done. He's done being a perennial all-star player, and they try to paint that as he's delusional. He thinks he could still be like one of the top players in the league. Yeah, he could be, but they don't. The league doesn't want him to be that anymore. They want him to accept the role that you're going to be a guy that comes in and scores 8 or 10 points off the bench and help a team win a championship and play your little minutes on the side. And Melo's not willing to do that in their mindset because you have to bend your mind to want to do that. To say this is the role I'm going to play right now. And Melo's had a hard, like he said, I had a hard adjustment to them wanting me to be like just some guy that's out there just shooting a three every now and then. That's a hard process. Like coming off the bench was disrespectful to him. And that was a mental adjustment. When you've been an all-star and a starter your entire career, when someone says you're going to come off the bench, like when he was like, hey, Ozzy, you got to come off the bench, that was not in the cards when negotiated when he was coming over to the team. So you were gonna have problems with Allen Iverson. So with Melo being, asked to come off the bench, this is a heck of an adjustment, and he did it when he went to Houston. He said, you know what, I'm gonna do it and give it a shot and try to be that team player. He tried to give them what they wanted, to try to fit in. And that was it. And the league's like, we're done. It's a sad end. Very sad end. But I hope Melo gets to play again. So what do you think? Should Melo play again or should he just retire? Let me know. And as always, don't forget to hit the Cash App up, donate to the page, show your support for the page. You're getting another premiere. Till then, I'm gone.